Okay. I call the meeting of the Roselle Park Municipal Land Use of April 18, 2016 to order. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Carl Hokinson. Piccarelli.
Here.
Councilman Petrovsky.
Here.
Mr. Harms.
Here.
Mr. Urbana.
Here.
Mr. Nitschi. Mr. Stevens.
Here.
Mr. Kennedy.
Here.
Mr. Costello.
Here.
Colby Monte. Jerry Vitale.
Here.
Owen Ungerman.
Here.
Greg Delano.
Here.
Mr. Jallo.
Here.
And myself.
Please rise to the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In case of a fire, please move in a common orderly manner to the nearest exits, which I am pointing. Thank you. Maybe somebody else, people don't know, but the reason why we're having a meeting tonight with nothing on the agenda is because by law, if you don't have a meeting in 2 months, you have to have, you can't go more than 2 months without having a meeting. So that's why there's, on the agenda, there's nothing there. The only thing we're going to do tonight is, Mr. Kennedy is the chairman of the Master Plan Committee. And so he's just going to kind of give, they had a meeting, he's just going to kind of give us an update on where they're at and somewhat of a timeline of when they might think that this might come to fruition to come to the board, and then it has to go to council. John?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I think a week and a half ago, prior to last mayor and council meeting, our subcommittee met with the borough engineering firm, Tom and Anthony. We outlined some of the, we framework on what our goal is in updating the master plan. We did identify some areas in the borough that we've identified as priority items. We were setting up our schedule to meet both the committee and also meeting with the Tom and Anthony from Neglia with the intention of having the draft completed by the committee, presented to the land use board and presented to council prior to the end of the year. So that our goal is to have this wrapped up by the end of this year.
Okay, and I thank you. Just kind of a little add to what the chairman of the committee has said. There were 10 areas that we looked at or suggested. And again, somebody might come up tonight and ask, well, so I'm going to give a chance for a public portion. I'm just waiting for this to get done. You might want to have some questions on that. That's why I kind of changed it a little bit. But there were 10 areas that we suggested that they look at, okay, for an area up for redevelopment. So again, they might not be in it, but there are areas that we think that might be an area that we could use in this particular case, because it kind of helps you a little bit when you put this on there in that fashion in the master plan. So again, it's up to our engineer and our planner to give us suggestions on yes, they should or couldn't or whatever, that kind of thing. I thank him for starting it. I know it's been a process because we started it last year and we were kind of waiting for certain things to happen. But we need it done by the end of this year. We started it and then we can carry it on. And it'll be good for 10 years to after we get done with this particular. That's why we're kind of really they're taking their time with it, just so we have everything covered and we don't miss something, because it'll be another 10 years before you look at it again. So we want to make sure we're covering all our bases. Okay, any questions on the board for the committee? Okay, at this time I accept the motion for the public portion to be open.
Make a motion to open the public portion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Anybody wishing to speak, please come forward, state your name and address. Just make sure you check the top there to make sure it's on, please.
Yeah, it's not on.
It's not on.
It's
It's on now.
Jacob McGarrett, 612 Sheridan Avenue, Roselle Park. Ladies and gentlemen of the audience, viewing audience, members of the board, good evening. Mr. Chairman, for the benefit of the residents, this is an unusual. All you have is none, 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 none. I don't know who none is that you want to explain why this has happened to the general public.
I'll do it again, but I did already, Jake. When I first started, I said the reason why we're having the meeting with nothing on the agenda, and the none is spelled N-O-N-E, not N-U-N, so we have that. But the reason why we're having it, because we didn't have meetings for the past 2 months. And by law, we have to have a meeting just to bring the committee together, the board together, see if anything's going on or whatever. So that's why we're having it tonight, and being it said, that's why we went over the master plan committee, what they've come up with so far on there.
I'm sure people are questioning how come you guys didn't have it regularly. And were the minutes approved?
We didn't, that's correct. We'll approve them next meeting. We'll approve them next meeting. We'll put it on the agenda for next meeting.
At the next meeting?
Yes, yes.
That this is not a...
Yes, it is. This is a meeting. We don't have to approve the minutes this particular meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak? Bless you.
So, Kirsten, 150 Berwyn Street. Could you list the 10, or can you? Is it areas or actual properties? Because you said areas. Is it like?
Well, that's why it would be. Yeah.
I think it's both, it's a combination.
And I understand it's a work in progress.
Yeah,
There are some of the 10 we've identified as a stretch of the corridor, Westfield Avenue, from here to here.
Okay.
There's other places we've said
Like pinpointed.
specific
Okay.
areas.
I don't know. Is senior housing part of this component, or no? Or would it be, or is that something else?
That would be something else, I would think. I don't think we were talking about that. That would be something, because of the Romanowskis, we're not getting into
Right.
that, you know.
Right. So it's just for areas in need of redevelopment.
Yes.
And that would have to go through the process of, I guess, I forget, I think it's council, then here, and then back to council with recommendations from here, kind of.
I think that's the way it works.
That's
Yeah,
right, yeah.
somewhat. I'm not sure the last part that you were saying about where it goes
Trying to follow
back.
what you said, council, then here, then to council with recommendations?
Council with recommendations from here, right? I believe that's how it works, right?
Sounds right. yeah.
So it's the ordinance, then it goes to here, you review it, give recommendations.
And then they supply this, and then there's the hearing on, site plans and all that other good stuff, yes.
And on a different note, is there any other development right now on either the Sullivan property? Because I know there was a hearing last year, but
I don't know that, no. I guess it's kind of a yes or no answer
Okay,
type thing.
that's fine.
It's kind of hard, because you hear a lot what might be coming down. That was gonna be the end of the meeting, I might as well do it now, is that what you hear is a lot of things that are possible.
in the
Okay,
works.
in the works, that people are talking to this, that, and the other thing, so it hasn't come to us yet.
Okay.
But I think that the board here is gonna be quite busy. If any of these come along, they're gonna be quite busy starting maybe next month, the month after.
Okay. And when the master plan goes through committee, will there be a public session to, I guess, give the public information before it's voted on?
I don't,
Understanding that sometimes if you do that,
yeah, I'm gonna say no.
okay,
But I could be corrected, because I'm gonna find out, but I'm gonna say no, because I don't remember it ever being before as a discussion. This discussion comes to, as I was explaining tonight, the draft. The draft, it's not the final. The draft comes from our planning and our engineering gives it to this board. This board looks at it, makes their comments, recommendations, do whatever, okay? That's where the hearing might be, if you want to
Okay.
call it as such. Once we approve the draft, it goes to council. Council at that time approves the draft, okay? And then it would go back to engineering for the final, any tweaking of it.
Revisions.
Revisions, if there isn't any, it would just, the draft would be removed.
And it would
from the
become
heading,
finalized.
And it would be final, and then that would come back to us to vote on it and then go, no, it goes to council first.
Okay,
Goes to council first and then comes back to us.
okay, all right,
Okay? Because we're gonna vote on it as the draft is gonna be whatever.
correct. Okay, thank you very much.
So it's a longer process, that's why we're hoping
Right.
to get,
And perhaps, just on a final note, perhaps give a recommendation to council to review, because the local ordinance calls for review every 6 years. The state ordinance calls for 10 years, so perhaps have it coincide with the state from now on.
that was the recommendation
Okay.
already to them to say this would be a 10-year, not a 6-year.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak? Seeing none, I'll have a motion to close the public portion.
I make a motion to close the public.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, as I said, we'll be done in a minute or less. Just what I was saying about we have to be prepared to, I know July and August is coming, I know that, but whoever can make it, because if the hearings that might be coming down might need the 7 members or 9 members here, okay? So we don't have 5 members here and then there's only 3 because sometimes there's the law says you have to have 7 members for them to have a hearing, so we're really gonna work at coming here. Last and final, okay? Everybody has received their financial statement. If you don't know what you're doing with it, because I didn't, because I couldn't remember, I couldn't get in because it was using 2 years ago your password. If you don't, come down and see the borough clerk, she can help you, okay? If you haven't done, do it. It is due by the end of this month. So please, I do not want somebody in the audience coming forward, okay, and telling me that we haven't filled out your financial disclosures, okay? Please, we don't need that. You have plenty of time to do it. Please fill it out, okay? Thank you. At this time, I'll accept the motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Have a good night.